Is this working or am I? Let's see here. Videos? No, I don't want videos. I want live. Live. All right. Hello, Alex. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. All right. So this thing is up and ready. I don't know if this is about to mess with it, but I need to turn my brightness up a little bit so I can see things on the screen. Hello, David. How are you doing? Hope you guys are doing well. I've been awake for like less than an hour. My sleep schedule is jacked. Got back from the racetrack like every day at 3 a.m. I mean, like every day at 3 a.m. and it's just completely thrown off my sleep schedule. Just got home here in the Central Time Zone yesterday, and I went. It got a little bit better compared to the West Coast time. I went to bed at 3 a.m. here time, which is 1 a.m. West Coast time. But my sleep schedule is kind of jacked, and I have a feeling it won't get reorganized until Abu Dhabi this weekend, which is unfortunate because that's a 7 a.m. race here, so that's going to be an abrupt end to the crazy sleep schedule. But there's been a lot of news. Obviously, the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which I'm sure we'll talk about. You guys, I'm sure some of you have seen those videos I posted out. But yeah, there's also been a lot of NASCAR news. Chase Elliott had off-season surgery on his shoulder. Let's see, the NASCAR TV deal. There's a development there that they could expand. You know, they were talking about doing the Fox and NBC portion, but in the middle there used to be TNT. Well, now they're thinking about doing a streaming service, whether it's Amazon or someone else. It was going to be like 6 to 8 races, I think. Now it could be 10. I just realized I'm not wearing a hat. I haven't unpacked, so it's sitting right here. I'm gonna wear the Red Bull for now. I'll put the McLaren hat on later. But yeah, there's news always happening in the racing world. It's been 2 weeks of the off-season. NASCAR F1 off-season hits next week, and then I won't know what to do. So, but yeah, hope everyone is doing good. David says he's doing good. It's good to hear. Glad you're doing good. Yeah, but first, I know we've kind of talked already. It's been 3 minutes of this thing, but thanks to everyone who's been watching my videos over the last week. It's been a record week for the channel. First video to hit 100,000 views. That was neat. All videos except for like 2 from the weekend have hit 1,000, and even those are like 800 and 500. So still, I would consider them solid. Some may not, but I do. So yeah, it was a really good weekend for the channel. I'm appreciative of you all for watching those videos, liking, even those who disliked it. Love seeing the opinions in the comments, obviously positive, and then also, you know, you're allowed to have a negative opinion. I'm always curious to see what people say both ways, so thanks to all who gave their opinion. But yeah, there's so much going on in the racing world despite it almost being over. As I said, with just news and stuff, so ask away anything. Until then, I'll just look up news headlines until we've got some questions here. We'll talk about Vegas. We'll talk about, as I said, just the NASCAR TV deal if you want to. If there's some other news I missed, let me know. I don't think I did. I tried my best. Xfinity news. Josh Williams is a colleague now. I didn't see that coming. That was very out of nowhere. So, I don't know. That just really kind of came out of nowhere. So, yeah. That was kind of wild. That was kind of crazy. But, yeah, if there's anything else I missed, let me know. Until then, first, let's look at the TV deal, I guess. The 2 people watching. You want to talk about the TV deal? Let me pull it up real quick. This may take a minute to get up, but all right, we're gonna talk about the TV deal first. So it says NASCAR has expanded its proposed midseason package to 10 races, as I said earlier. According to the sources, Amazon and Turner remain front runners to pick up the midseason package. It's interesting. Amazon, they've been in the talks for a bit, I want to say. Ever since that first report came out about NASCAR potentially going back to the kind of like the middle chunk of what are we calling it? Like the summer, whatever we want to call that. That's been talked about a bit, but obviously nothing has been confirmed yet. We know Xfinity is going to be on CW. I still can't believe that's a real thing. The CW is certainly a network of all time. Yeah, they got some interesting TV shows. That's all I'll say there. I hope their race broadcaster is good, though. Obviously want to be optimistic about NASCAR. It's just the CW that was out of nowhere. Yeah, but anyways, so yeah, NASCAR deal is. Oh, hold on. Here we go. We got a question. Cool. Patty says, overall, what did you think of the whole Vegas race? Was it worth all the construction they did? Obviously, I'm not from Vegas, so from that vantage point, I don't really know much. That would be, you'd have to ask someone who lives around there or at least works around there. That question, they would know more about that than me, obviously. But I mean, from a fan's perspective, obviously, I thought it was a great race. Like, there was so much negativity heading into this race, and people like, oh, a third U.S. race, this is ridiculous, this is absurd. Why do they get 3 races? All that stuff, and I was like, come on, give the race a chance. The cars haven't even been on track yet. Give it a chance, you know. And it ended up being a great race, and there was actually some positive thoughts about it after the race, just because of how good of a race it was. It was one of the best of the season, if you ask me. I might be biased because I was there, but I mean, we had multiple changes for the lead. There were different points in this race that I thought we were going to have there was one stint I thought Leclerc was going to win. There was one stint I thought Perez was going to win, and then obviously there was good majority of the race I thought Verstappen was going to win. But the fact that I had a genuine thought that another driver could win or another 2 drivers could win, 3 drivers in the mix for this thing made it more exciting. And you just really had to be on your A game. Couldn't make a mistake, or else the other drivers would take an advantage. And then obviously not just a battle for the win. I mean, you had battles throughout the field. Lewis Hamilton had to make his way up through the field. Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, even Perez, obviously. So it was just a really fun race, and then the different strategies as well. So as for the weekend as a whole, obviously Thursday was frustrating. I went back to my hotel room after they canceled first practice just because, go back, got some food before we left. And then went back to the hotel, just kind of relaxed for a bit once we got the reports that practice was going to start at 2 a.m. Started heading back that way at about 1:15 a.m. And I didn't get on my phone on the 30-minute walk to the track. And as soon as we turn the corner to the gate, we see a bunch of people walking out. I get on my phone, load Twitter, and F1 reporter says that fans have essentially been kicked out, can't go, and so we just walked 30 minutes for nothing. So that was really frustrating, and the fact that, you don't get your full use out of the ticket was also frustrating. But, the rest of the weekend went smoothly. The rest of the weekend was fine. It was a great experience. It was a fun race, as I said. So I left town yesterday, and they were taking down the track. Obviously, they actually took down a good chunk of the barriers on the strip. Actually, there was you saw a lot of construction, a lot of movement there. They put 10 to 12 of those barriers, those kind of pieces of the wall, and would transport them out. So it was actually quite impressive to see. I took one video and put it on the Twitter, so if you care enough, go check that out. But yeah, it was a really fun race. It was a good race. Always cool to see cars on track, and that's only the second F1 race I've been to, so really cool to see F1 cars on track. So, and also being on the grid was cool, or not like literally on it, but like to see the grid. I've never seen the grid before in action, like in person, so that was cool. But thanks for asking. The racing itself, 10 out of 10. Weekend itself, 9 out of 10. Thursday just was a little frustrating. Did you watch Pocono win Jeff Gordon 2012 Chaos Racing? Dude, I remember exactly where I was on that win. All right, so David's been here for a while, so he knows how big of a Jeff Gordon fan I am. But yeah, that race was crazy because it was the rain race at Pocono when top 6 or top 5, whatever, wrecked themselves and Gordon slipped by into the win or into the lead, and then it rained and the race was over. I was out of town. We were doing like a summer vacation with like some family friends or something. And, the race had happened. Gordon had taken the lead, and we went out for, I don't know, early dinner. I don't remember what time of day it was, late lunch. We went out to do something, and we came back, and the broadcast was still on ESPN. And, I turn on the TV, and Casey Kane is talking to the booth, and I'm like, Casey Kane, did he win the race? Like, did they restart this race and Casey Kane stole the win? And I was so mad. I genuinely thought Casey Kane had taken the win from Jeff Gordon. And, 12-year-old me was like, Jeff Gordon's only allowed to win. This is a crime if Jeff Gordon doesn't win. Well, it turns out they were just interviewing Casey Kane because Casey Kane was running like second or third or something. But then next thing you know, they declared Jeff Gordon the winner. And I was like, hey. And I was all happy. So it worked out. Jeff Gordon win. Number 86, 87. Important number 1. But, yeah. Who will be in the 50 for the money team in 2024? And we will Team Hesselberg coming back. Oh, man. I forgot about Team Hesselberg. I'm not going to lie. But Daniel Kvyat raced for him. I really like him. I wish he got a little bit more time in F1, but unfortunately that just didn't work out that way. As for the rest of the team, I have no idea what their plans are. They have not been talked about since their last entry into the Cup Series, which was the Roval of 2022. I've got no idea what they're going to do. I know they had some Dutch investors. Loris Hezemans was one of the drivers. We saw a variety of drivers in that second car, or in their seats, both their seats, honestly. We saw Daniel Kvyat, as I mentioned. We saw Jacques Villeneuve, who got married at the Vegas F1 race this weekend. That was very random. They had a wedding chapel at the Vegas F1 race, and the first one to get married there was 1997 world champion Jacques Villeneuve. That was out of nowhere. But yeah, Team Hesselberg or Hezemans, whatever, Hesselberg, I don't know. The money team, I also don't know. Because these two teams are part-time. They're usually back markers. And I don't know if they still exist. I don't know who's going to drive for them if they do exist. So, thanks for the question, Steeler NASCAR Nation Fan 50. But I don't know. In conclusion, I don't know. I read tons of reports out there about different things in NASCAR, Xfinity, Truck, Cup, TV, sponsor, you name it. I try my best to keep up with it to inform you, the people. And I got to admit, I have not seen anything on either of those teams. I honestly forgot those two teams existed. So, apologies for not giving you a good enough answer, but that is the extent of my knowledge. David asks, did you think of Lewis Hamilton win next year? It's a good question. No. I mean, he's obviously the driver himself has the skill set. He's a 7-time world champion. He's won 103 races, I want to say 103. I think that's right. Obviously, he can get it done. He can win races. He's won races in the best car, obviously. He's dominated in the best car. He's won in cars that are not the best car. The second best car, third best car back in his McLaren days. Even his first year at Mercedes, that wasn't the best car, and I think he won. But Mercedes is just off right now, man. They dominated the turbo hybrid era from 14 to 20. 21 hit, and they got real competition. And they still won races. They still competed for a championship. But then you get the new car, and they just fell flat on their face, essentially, by their standards. They've won one race in this era. They're choking away second in the constructors. Maybe they just got. I don't know why they have missed so bad. I mean, obviously it could be worse. They could have missed this car much worse, and they could be running seventh in the constructors and barely scraping points together. So it could be worse, but it also should be better. Um, but you've got capable drivers. You've got the right minds making the cars. Just something went wrong, and they can't seem to figure it out. And now they're behind. So I don't think they'll be winning championships anytime soon. But race wins, I will not put out of the question. We've seen crazier things happen in F1, so I'm not going to rule wins out of the question. But I think championship is either constructors or drivers is a long shot. Can we see a new team in the Cup Series? Obviously we could. There's a lot of different possibilities. You know, everyone wants to see Dale Jr. make Junior Motorsports a Cup team. Will that happen? I don't know. Dale Jr. seems like he wants it to happen. The only problem is money. So if he were able to get the money to acquire a charter, he might pull the trigger. He might do it. As for anyone else, it would have to be out of nowhere. It would have to be like a money team deal. We talked about the money team a few minutes ago, where you get, a big name investor like Floyd Mayweather to invest in a team, run part-time, get your name out there a little bit, stuff like that. Other than that, I don't know. No big teams, no 2311 like news bombs, no track house kind of thing. So we could see new teams. If we do see new teams, maybe they'd expand the field again. I missed back when it was 43 cars, but the fact of the matter is that they're maxing out at 36 every week usually. So I don't think we'll expand anytime soon. Patty asks, my friend and I had a debate this weekend about tires. I'll throw it out to you. If Pirelli can bring 3 different compounds to each F1 race, why can't Goodyear bring 3 different compounds to NASCAR? That's a very interesting question, actually. I've never thought of that. I'm serious. That's a very, very good question. Someone smarter than me knows that answer. It's a very good question. I feel like with NASCAR, F1 obviously is a shorter race. The distance, the time. NASCAR, you're running 500 miles. The reality is you want to try to get the most out of your tire life. So everyone's going to have essentially the hard tires. But it would be interesting to have maybe 2 compounds, have a soft and a hard, or like a ultra hard and a soft hard, if that makes sense. So that way, if you're on old hard tires on a restart, but someone pits to get the ultra or the soft hard, then, you can essentially have a shootout. But then again, you could just get fresh tires anyway, so it wouldn't matter. So, I mean, it's an interesting question. It really is. I just think that the fact that NASCAR is so long run driven, and, I think that's why they do it. But once again, it is an interesting question. So it's a really good question. Really good question. What if NASCAR let the all characters and open car to race in the Daytona 500? Oh, I think you mean charters. So all charters would be 36. Last year, I think we had 6 open cars in the 500. I want to say 6. We had the money team. We had, well, that's 1. Who else do we have? Man, this is rough. You know what? I'm just going to Google it. This is too much math for me. I'm going to Google 2023 Daytona 500. All right. 2023 Daytona 500. I'm going to look up qualifying, and then I will let you know who the open cars were. Oh, right. Yeah. Chandler Smith was in the 500 for Colleague. Riley Herbst for Rick Ware. Zane Smith was in a third front row car. So Riley Herbst was in a charter car. So, okay, so the money team, colleague, a beard car was in it with Austin Hill. As I said, the other front row car. There was 42 entries into the Daytona 500. So 42 entries. Yeah. Oh, Travis Pastrana was in a third 2311 car. Forgot about that. He finished like 11th. He actually did pretty solid there. But yeah, what was the question again? The question went away. Message retracted. I can't remember, but 43 cars. Or 42. Did you hear Ken Squire? Yeah, I did. That was sad to hear, obviously. One of the most known commentators in NASCAR history. Obviously, I think he's in the Hall of Fame. So he did a lot for NASCAR. Definitely sad to hear about his passing. That was last week, I believe. But, you know, everyone in the NASCAR community, everyone that knew him, sharing their stories, messages about him, which was cool to see, cool to hear, obviously, but still sad, regardless of, you know, how someone dies, when someone dies. Still sad to hear about that. So rest in peace, Ken Squire. Oh, yeah. Jimmy Johnson was in the Daytona 500 last year. I forgot about that. I always forget Jimmy Johnson ran part-time last year. He's kind of forgettable, honestly. He didn't do anything. When will NASCAR return to Auto Club? Good question. They've actually started tearing down the old track, which is a little sad, I will admit. But I'll try to show you a picture here. Speedway construction. But they've started tearing down the track already. As I said, sad to see. I should have put destruction. Show me a bunch of pictures in the 90s of the being constructed. Being torn down. Let's see here. What did you say? I drive by it. It was sad. Steelers NASCAR Nation fan 50 is sad. Has video of it. That's very good. I'd actually like to see that. But yeah, there's a lot of construction going on at Auto Club. They're tearing the track down. I think it was like turns 1 and 2, I want to say, that I've seen pictures of that have been torn down. There are other areas of the track I'm sure have been torn down or been kind of messed with, but the picture I've seen has been of turns 1 and 2. I'm trying to find it. That's why I'm looking down. I'm doing my best to find this picture of the speedway. But yeah, it's being torn down, which is kind of sad. I don't know when this short track is going to be finished. I don't know if they are running the short track. There's been so much talk. Is this short track going to happen? When is it going to happen? Where is it going to happen? Like on the property. I don't know at this point. I don't think anyone knows, if we're being honest. It's a mystery. But yeah, it's a little sad, little upsetting. Auto Club, obviously a great track, and Auto Club itself, you know, has provided great racing, especially in the next gen era. I get that we want more short tracks and road courses, and at first I was like, yeah, let's do it. But then after the first couple races of the next gen Auto Club, I was like, do we really want to do this? So, you know, I've got mixed feelings about it. I think a lot of people have mixed feelings about it, but Auto Club is being destroyed, and I can't find the picture of it being destroyed. So that's a little frustrating, I guess. I don't know. All right, now I'm going to scroll through this for like 1 more minute. If I can't find it, then we are giving up on trying to find this picture of Auto Club being destroyed. Let's see. Still nothing. Still nothing on. I still can't find the picture of Auto Club being destroyed. There's a bunch of the video. What's that video game that everyone likes? The iRacing. The iRacing. Yeah. There's a bunch of iRacing pictures, but there's no pictures of the actual track being destroyed. So, all right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I give up. All right, we tried. Could not find Auto Club Speedway. But yes, very sad. It's being torn down. Very sad. But now we have Iowa. Speaking of Iowa, how about those Iowa Hawkeyes? We talk about Iowa football quite a bit on this channel. I bring it up when I can because I find Iowa football very entertaining. Yeah, I said that. I did. I love to see how low the over-under gets for Iowa football. It makes me happy. It satisfies me when I look up the odds and Iowa football's under has reached a new low. This week it's at 26. 26. They're still probably going to hit the under. They've only hit the over once this season. Could you imagine? They hit the under and then the Big Ten championship over-under is like 20. I can dream. Anyways, we've talked about Iowa football enough for the day. iRacing is not a video game. It's for real. I had to earn my license, and it's no game. Interesting. I've never done it, so I wouldn't know. The extent of my NASCAR video game knowledge is NASCAR 2011, the game on the Wii. So probably don't take my opinions on video games. That's what I'm saying here, especially racing video games. Yeah, it's. I'm still on the Wii. The Wii's great. It's great. I still play it every once in a while. You got NASCAR 2011 the game. You got Mario Kart Wii. You got Mario Super Sluggers. You got Wii Sports, obviously, a classic. Trying to think what other games I got on there. I don't know. That's usually the rotation right there. But the Wii, good time. A lost art. Trying to think of what else. Josh Williams to Colleague. That's on my mind because I didn't see it coming. I'm not really sure why it's happening, but good for Josh Williams. He's had some solid results before. This is going to be his best opportunity. I'm curious, very curious to see how he does in that car. I don't know how he's going to do. Colleague, obviously they've been up and down. The Xfinity Series program has been... This year, Chandler Smith picked up a win. Maybe AJ Allmendinger picked up a couple wins in that 10 car, but other than that, just kind of a meh year from them. Usually they're championship 4 contenders. They're winning races consistently, but they just didn't have that this year. So, anyways, yeah, definitely hoping to change something for Colleague if you're them. It's too real. You'd love it. My favorite is driving my McLaren. Like a McLaren F1, McLaren Indy car, or like a literal McLaren car. Like McLaren, they make the street cars, like one of those. Like the F1, I guess this is a good time to... Does that look dumb with both the hats on? Yeah, I should probably just pick one. But McLaren got brought up, so I guess I'll change the McLaren hat. Stuart Haas Racing, who would be the leader next year? That's a fantastic question. So you've got different perspectives here. Josh Berry is the oldest, but Chase Briscoe has been there the longest. So the question would be, who would be viewed as the leader? Obviously, Kevin Harvick's been the leader there ever since, ever since he arrived. Tony Stewart, he was still driving when Harvick got there, but Stewart was kind of in his driving skills was going this way. So Harvick was in his prime. I would say Harvick was the leader still. I mean, Stewart was a leader. Obviously, he owned the team and he was still a driver, but I think Harvick was the leader there. And then Stewart retires, and you have Kurt Busch there. And don't get me wrong, Kurt Busch is the veteran. He's great. He is, just like Stewart, a leader, but I think Harvick was still the leader. Then obviously this last era, Harvick has been no question the leader there. When you've had Almirola, Briscoe, who else? Boyer, when Boyer was in the 14. So it's a good question. It is a good question. Who will be the leader at Stewart-Haas? I would think that they would lean towards Briscoe just because he's been there the longest. He's got the most Cup experience. Well, second most. I think Priest has a little bit more Cup experience in terms of races run. But if we're talking about Stewart-Haas races run, obviously Briscoe. So I think Briscoe, it's going to be a big step up for him to be the unofficial leader at Stewart-Haas Racing. So it's going to be a big step for him. It's going to be a big opportunity for him as well to see how he can do as essentially the lead guy at the team. Once again, it's nothing like Harvick has been this last year. It's not like Briscoe is 10 steps ahead of everyone. But I would give the edge to Briscoe if we're talking about a leader just because he has been there the longest. SHR's put a lot into him. So to answer that question, David, I'm going to say Chase Briscoe. Second, probably either Ryan Preece or Josh Berry. And then obviously, technically the 10, we don't know, but probably Noah Gragson in that 10 car. So watch it get broken, like breaking news show up in the middle of this video or live stream or whatever we're calling this. I don't know. I guess we'll see, as I said. Ooh, Abu Dhabi got a new podium. It's kind of like Monza, where it like goes, there's a bridge over the pit lane, and it like hovers over the pit lane. That's cool, I guess. You see, like, here, let me show you. Gonna zoom in. Hold on, let me zoom. There it is. There's the new Abu Dhabi podium. Pretty neat. I don't know. I like it. Good for them. Could you imagine that podium 2 years ago? 2020 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix mentioned. Oh, man. People on the internet still get upset when that gets brought up. It's a little... 2 years later, it's a little bit funny when people get mad about it. I think the only people who are still allowed to be mad at it are Lewis Hamilton. And I guess Mercedes, yeah. Those are the only people who are allowed to still be mad on about it. Other than that, like, chill, people. It's been 2 years. Trying to think of any other news or whatnot. Can't really. As I said, Abu Dhabi's this weekend. Fun fact of the day, I did some research last night. 8 of the last 9 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix winners have gone on to win the next year's championship. Max Verstappen's won the last 3 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He's won the last 3 championships. So he won in 2020, then he won the 21 title, won the 21 race, won the 22 title, won the 22 race, won the 23 title. I think Hamilton won the 2019 race, so he won the 2020 title. He won the 2018 race, so he won the 2019 title. Bottas won 2017. That was the one that wasn't. Hamilton won the 2016 race. He won the 2017 title. Rosberg won the 2015 race, won the 2016 title. Hamilton, the 2014 race, 2015 title. So I find it interesting. You may not, but I do, because I find weird things interesting. And random facts like that no one else cares about, I find interesting. So, sorry if you don't. Otherwise, I guess I'm sorry. Let's see. I just saw a comment popped up, but I didn't see it in time. Is NASCAR coming to the Vegas Strip next? I remember early on after the Strip was announced, there was like a report that NASCAR wanted to do it, or that like someone in NASCAR wanted to do it, and I made a video about it. I have to go back and watch it. I made it like a year and a half ago. I don't think it'll ever happen, if we're being honest. I think Chicago is a good place for a street race in NASCAR. The Chicago street race worked out great. It was a great racetrack for NASCAR. It worked out extremely well. Obviously, one race is a small sample size, but it was a pretty good race. So I think we got to run this thing until just run it a few years, see if it continues to deliver. And if it does, if it's financially good for the city of Chicago, then I don't see any reason. My hot take of the day, that could very well become a crown jewel race. It's the first ever street race. It's in Chicago, one of the biggest cities in the States. And it's a unique venue, unique place to win, a unique city. I think it could be a crown jewel if we can run this thing and run it forever. Obviously, nothing stays around forever, but, if we can run this thing 30, 40 years, then 15 years down the road, I think this thing is considered a crown jewel. The crown jewels to me, Daytona 500, is anyone disputing that? Anyone? I don't hear any disputations. Coca-Cola 600, same situation. No one's going to dispute that. Southern 500, no one's going to dispute that. I would say the Bristol Night Race and the Brickyard. I'm going to say it. Both of those are crown jewels. Brickyard, it's an iconic venue, especially the Oval. The Oval, for sure, is a crown jewel. And the Bristol Night Race is iconic. But as for NASCAR on the Strip, that would be cool. The racing would be... I don't know how it would be. I got to be honest. The long straight would make for some great passing into turn 14. It would make for some wrecks, though. Thank God that's not the restart zone. Our NASCAR drivers would find a way to embarrass themselves, but I don't think it'll happen. It would have to happen the same weekend as F1. It's too much of a construction mess as is, and I don't think the city of Las Vegas wants to make its locals any more mad. So NASCAR on the Strip, I don't think that'll happen at any time. Do you think Lewis Hamilton will try NASCAR next year? He's expressed interest. That's a great question. Denny Hamlin was at Vegas. He was at the race. He posted a picture of him and Lewis Hamilton talking. It may have just been a tease. It may have just been a troll job, which Denny Hamlin often does because he's really funny at the social media. But it was an interesting, it's kind of interesting. Lewis Hamilton, obviously, Denny Hamlin likes Lewis Hamilton. Denny Hamlin's driver, Bubba Wallace, he is a Lewis Hamilton fan. Whenever he's asked, like, who would you do a car swap with? Or who would you want to drive the third 2311 car? Bubba's always answering, Lewis Hamilton. The thing is, Lewis Hamilton is still in a very competitive form in F1. And I think that he wants to get the most out of himself in F1, which would mean no distractions, essentially. I don't think he would leave F1 mid-season. Obviously, he wouldn't miss an F1 race for a NASCAR race, but even, I think we got Watkins Glen in August, like early August, and F1 has their summer break during that time. I still don't think Lewis Hamilton would do it midseason, but maybe after he retires, I could see him doing a one-off or maybe a part-time schedule. I don't think he'll ever do full-time schedule. I don't think he'll ever do an oval. If he did an oval, it would be the Daytona 500. Other than that, I don't see him doing an oval. But if he were to do it, if I had to guess, it would be after he retired. And if I had to pick a race that he would do first, it would be COTA or Chicago. COTA because he has experience there. He's won there 5 or 6 times. Chicago because it's a street race. There's a lot of attention to it. It's a big event for NASCAR now, and it's a major city. So I think Lewis Hamilton, if he were to do it, yeah, if I had to guess, 2311 would be the team he does it for. If we're going to take the next step and guess where, COTA or Chicago. When, as I said, probably after he retires. So, and there might be a contract issue of him driving a Toyota with his Mercedes deal. I don't know. Maybe that's me over speculating. Maybe that's me overthinking it. But it's a really good question. I don't know if we'll ever see Lewis Hamilton in NASCAR. I would love it. I would love to see any driver in NASCAR that wants to do NASCAR from any form of motorsport. If Valentino Rossi wants to come race in NASCAR from his motorcycling career, I think he's retired now. Go for it. I'd love to see you in the car, Valentino. If Lewis Hamilton wants to come over, race in NASCAR, come on over, Lewis. Would love to see it. If there's a World Endurance Championship driver who wants to come over, come on over. Well, I guess we saw Kamui Kobayashi, so there we go. If we want more supercars drivers in this field, let's do it. Come on over. What other motorsport forms am I missing? ARCA drivers, if you want to come over to NASCAR, come on over, ARCA. ARCA. But, yeah, I'd love to see anyone come over, join NASCAR. I would love to see Max Verstappen personally. Right now, he's in the prime of his career. I'd love to see him do something in NASCAR, whether it's a one-off or whatever. Because with how good he's driving right now, I think he could get the most out of the car. I don't know how good he'd do. I think he'd push the boundaries. I think the first session for him would be a bit difficult. He'd miss some turns, spin out maybe, but I think Max Verstappen could make things interesting. But here's the thing. The third Penske car, or now the fourth Penske car, has always been number 33. It's a Ford team. Red Bull has a deal with Ford. Why not put Max Verstappen in the 33 car for a race? Just saying. IndyCar, yeah, David says IndyCar. Put an IndyCar driver in NASCAR. We've actually seen that one too. We have. Connor Daly. Marco Andretti's run some truck races. I'm forgetting someone. There's someone out there in IndyCar who I'm forgetting. Jimmy Johnson, IndyCar legend. Jimmy Johnson has run in NASCAR. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And we've got options. We got the Project 91 might be taken up by SVG right now. But we got the 67. We've got the 33, whether it's RCR or Penske. We've got, if you really want to do it, Rick Ware Racing does have that other car that they alternate drivers. We saw Jenson Button in that car. Who else? The Money Team. We just talked about them. The Money Team, Team Heseberg. So, there you go. I think they're all waiting to see how SVG does. They being the supercar drivers, or they being all the other international drivers. Lewis Hamilton, Valentino Rossi, Jimmy Johnson. Who are we talking about there? Danica Patrick. Yeah, IndyCar legend Danica Patrick. How could I forget? Okay, so I got a confession. I watched the pre-race and the race because, as I said, my sleep schedule's so jacked. So it's like 1 a.m. here, and I'm not tired because my sleep schedule's jacked. So I recorded the pre-race and the race, the broadcast, because I wanted to see how it was on TV. I forgot that Danica Patrick did the pre-race show with Jenson Button and the other people. It's quite interesting. And, her and Martin Brundle did a hot lap. Martin Brundle's hot lap, like he was driving fast and he's just kind of chill, minding his business. When Danica was doing her hot lap, she was like focused, like hyper focused, like her eyes were super big. She's like looking ahead to the turn, like looking down at the curbs, like going all out, like aggressively doing the paddle shift. I don't know why I found that funny, but I found it funny. Maybe it was just me. Don't know. How did Hamilton go from winning so much in F1 to now Verstappen taking over? Feels like it happened overnight. We saw the signs in 2020. Max Verstappen was in the second best car, and that car was pretty off Mercedes. Now, it wasn't like 2 seconds off, but the fact of the matter is that Mercedes was much better. Verstappen got 2 wins out of that thing. That was when like his prime started. He was consistently running third, or on the podium, I should say. He got 2 wins that were not flukes. That was kind of like the early signs, like, if they give this guy a competitive car, like, he's going to win a championship, like, no matter who he's against. Flip the page to the next year, and he's going head-to-head with arguably the best driver in history, and he beats him. Look, I don't care what you say about that Abu Dhabi finale. Yes. Did they mess up that call? Yes, they did. But the fact of the matter is, there's a counter-argument. You can say, they stole Lewis's title at Abu Dhabi. Max doesn't deserve it. Well, I could slap back at you. Lewis needed to wreck Max at Silverstone and Monza and needed Valtteri Bottas to wreck him at Hungary to even take this thing to Abu Dhabi. So Max was the better driver that year. He was a deserving champion, if you ask me. And then the new car hit. The new car, once that thing came alive, once they figured out how to make that thing not blow up every other race, which was pretty quick, by the way. Remember, they blew up at Bahrain and Australia in 2022 at the beginning of the season. But once they got that reliability issue fixed, they had the speed. Max Verstappen is arguably the fastest driver in F1 right now. There was no stopping him. Not at all. The only thing that's been able to stop Max Verstappen so far is Singapore. For some reason, he cannot figure out Singapore. He's broken his Monza curse. He's broken... I'm trying to think where he is. You know, he struggled so much at Monza up until last year. I mean, it's mind-blowing. It's like you said, it's almost like it happened overnight. But I think that 2021 battle, obviously, just because of how close it was, it didn't feel as dominant, even though it was more dominant than we think it was. I know it came down to the last race. I know it came down to the last lap. I know there needed to be a controversial call to make that happen, but the numbers are insane. Max had 10 wins that year. He led triple the amount of laps Lewis Hamilton led that year. He had more poles than Lewis Hamilton that year. If you went straight by the stat sheet, it would appear that Max Verstappen dominated. But obviously, it did come down to that last race. So, yeah, but I mean, what he's doing is incredible. The most mind-blowing fact is that the majority of what he's done has happened in the last 3 years. Entering 2021, he only had 10 career wins. Now he has 53, which is tied for third on the all-time wins list. I mean, he is on a freaking tear right now. Yeah, he's already entering the, greatest of all time discussion, and he's what, 26? Oh, no. Stupid computer. Why are you crashing? All right, we're good. But, yeah, Max Verstappen's on an absolute tear right now. He can become third alone on the all-time wins list on Sunday. It's kind of crazy. You'd expect him to be the favorite. Well, he is the favorite, but you'd expect him to win Abu Dhabi. That track has been very good to them. They've won. He has won 3 straight there. That track very much suits that Red Bull. But as I said in my Grand Prix preview for Vegas, it's racing. Things happen. Nothing is guaranteed. You could get wrecked on lap 1. You could have a mechanical failure. So it's not a guarantee for Verstappen, but it's very likely for Verstappen. So those odds there, always interesting. All. Patty says all. Oh, and returns to, I think they're all waiting to see how SVG does. You mean that all drivers, like not just supercar drivers, you mean like all drivers of the world are looking to see how SVG does. I'm really excited to see how SVG does. Obviously, he took the world by storm over here. So very excited for SVG to see how he does. Oh my God, I forgot. Alpha Tauri is gonna get a new name. Oh my God, the rumor right now is that their team name is gonna be Racing Bulls. It's not horrible, but they could have done better. That's basically, everyone knows you're Red Bull's B team. Like, do we really just have to call you Bulls now? Like, go back to Toro Rosso or Toro Rosso, whatever it was. I know that's like Red Bull in Italian, but it sounds cooler, okay? But Racing Bulls is definitely a name choice if that ends up being true. So, lovely. The team's main colors will likely become blue and silver. It's literally just like the Toro Rosso days. Oh my goodness. There's some red stripes in there, and you've literally got. Let me look it up. I'm going to show you a beautiful race car, ladies and gentlemen. The 2019 Toro Rosso. I can't spell it. This is a beautiful race car. And Daniel Kvyat dragged this thing to a podium. Let me try to find a great picture of it. Look at this beauty. Look at this beauty. Okay. So that Real Racing 3 game that I've done some videos on this channel of, I'm going to do a new one. They got a NASCAR update. That's going to be one of my off-season videos. You're going to see that here in the next week or so. I'm going to do a video game. I said I don't know much about video games. So I'm going to do a video game of Real Racing 3. But here is the Toro Rosso. Look how beautiful it is. There's even my light halo is like perfectly around it. It's like an angel. See, it's an angel. It's got a halo over it. Well, it already has a halo on it, but it's got a second halo on it. Point being, yeah, spoiler alert for next week's video, I guess. To the 6 people who are watching, congratulations. You're the first 6 people in the world to know my schedule for next week. If Racing Bulls does crappy, they'll be known as Racing BS. That's funny. I'm not going to lie, I might use that one. So thank you, Patty. How do I screenshot on a computer? I don't know how to screenshot on a computer, so I'm just going to try to remember. Actually, no, I know what I'm going to do. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second, I'll be right back. This iPad's not dead, which it's not. Nice. I'm going to pull up YouTube. I'm going to screenshot that, and then I'll send it to myself. And, all right. Screenshot. All right, we're good. That's funny, though. I like that. I'm going to post that, like, on the line, so. I'm serious. I think that's a really funny joke. Oh, my God. Racing BS. Imagine champion. I'm sorry. It's so funny. Imagine Championship 4 at Pocono. Next Gen hasn't been terrible at Pocono. Pocono used to be my favorite track. I still love it, don't get me wrong. But that's my best track on NASCAR 2011, the game. Speaking of video, we've talked about video games so much in this thing. My God. But I hate this championship format. I hope it gets nuked. It won't, but I can hope and dream. Just like everyone else, I can hope and dream. But sure, why not? I want the championship to be rotated. So, yeah, throw the Mountains of Pennsylvania in that rotation. That race will get snowed out. People will be pissed off. Sure, anything to make this format look worse, I'm all for it. Put it at Daytona, put it at a figure 8, put it on I-20 and just drive from Dallas to Atlanta nonstop. I don't care. If you can't tell, I'm just fed up with this system. I've been fed up with the system since the first year. Since the first freaking year when Jeff Gordon got screwed out of a championship. I hate this format so much. Also, I've thanked you guys a lot for watching my F1 videos. Once again, thank you for that. But thank you for watching that rant I made on the Truck Series race so much. As did my iPad just die at 46%? This thing's like 7 years old. This thing's like 7 years old, I swear. And it just dies whenever it wants to if I don't keep it plugged in. So, yeah. So, in conclusion, old technology dies, in case you didn't know. You got ideas for off-season videos? Asks Steph22. Yes, actually, I do for once have off-season video ideas. As I said, the Real Racing 3 video, that will be happening in the next week. The other off-season idea I have, I love national anthems. I don't know why, but national anthems are catchy. Once again, I'm weird. I know. I like national anthems. I do. So I'm going to do top 10 national anthem performances of the 2023 Formula One season. That's it. That's for that one. But there have been some great performances this year. There's a channel that posts all the national anthem performances, except for Qatar. For some reason, Qatar is not posted because, according to the maker or the poster of the videos, that one was taken down by the FIA or whoever owns the video rights, F1 Media. Why did they pick that one? I don't know. But so we got the Real Racing 3, we got national anthems. Best moments maybe of the year in racing, both F1 and NASCAR. I currently, as of today, obviously things change. Things do change. It's about a month away. I do plan on going to the Cotton Bowl again. I've gone to that for the last 4 or 5 years with a friend. We actually were texting about it last week. He texted me and said, "You still want to go to the Cotton Bowl this year?" I said, "For sure." We've basically just been sending each other projected matchups of it ever since because last year's was so epic between USC and Tulane. And that actually was one of my most viewed videos too, so thanks to all who watched that. But for real though, that was one of the best football games I watched. That's for sure the best football game I've ever been to. Other than that, it's going to be just random videos, honestly. Whether it's news, rumors. I mean, usually in season, I'm a little more picky with the news stories I pick to do videos on. It has to be a pretty significant, if it's a rumor, it has to be a significant rumor. And it has to be rumored by someone who knows what they're talking about. If Dave the Pirate or Steve the Pirate from, Dodgeball tweets out, William Byron's going to Joe Gibbs Racing, I'm not going to make a video on that. If Jeff Gluck says William Byron sat down and talked to Joe Gibbs Racing, it's not confirmed that he's going there, but they have talked, that's video worthy. So this time of year, I'll be more particular. Now, I'm not saying that if some random bozo on Twitter says that William Byron's going to Joe Gibbs Racing, that I'm going to make a video on it. But if there's a smaller news story, we'll talk about it. If Corey LaJoie gets a new paint scheme, there's a chance we talk about it. I love new paint schemes, so, we might just talk about it. We do a paint scheme preview every year. We do 2 or 3 rate some 2023, 2024 paint schemes, so we'll do preseason videos. Obviously, we're talking way far in advance. Early February, we'll do preseason videos. We'll do my normal preseason preview and predictions. We'll do paint scheme preview. But as for you want to know what's happening in the next month, Real Racing 3 video, that's happening in the next week. National Anthem video, that's happening in the next 2 weeks. As for everything else, TBD. If you've got ideas, you let me know. In fact, one of these days, I may just make a community post and say, give it to me. Give me your video ideas. I will do my best to make one. Something I forgot about. 3,000 subscriber video. I will get on that. We're already at 3,100. So that 3,000 was a while ago. It's been about a month. I apologize for being behind on that. I will make it up to you though. So we will get on that. We here in the studio, which is me and my hat, we will get on it. I'll let you guys know that in a community post. The community post, I love that feature because it's not that sometimes I don't want to make a video. It's just there's some things that's like I want to tell you guys, but there's no point in me making a 15-second video of saying, by the way, we're doing something on the channel. The community post gives me that option to just say it in text form and put a little picture with it. And then you guys can comment. I can quickly comment back. It's nice and simple. It's nice and easy. I love that feature. I do. So the community post, if you ever want to know what's going on in the channel, if you ever want to know what's going on in the news or why I have missed something or why my video is delayed, any scheduling changes for the channel, that is where you go. So, Ross Chastain, in my opinion, is the best. That blue with black is sharp. The Worldwide Express scheme is pretty cool looking, I will say. That is a pretty cool looking paint scheme. I saw it win at Nashville, actually. Pretty cool. Ross Chastain's really good. He's a good race car driver. I predicted him to win 2022 COTA like the day after 2021 COTA because he was going to win 2021 COTA if it was not rain shortened. He's really good. He's got 4 career wins, all at Trackhouse in the last 2 years. He's made a championship 4. I think he's a legit championship threat now. Will he win a championship? I don't know because this format is stupid. But is he a championship caliber driver? So far, he's shown it. He showed it in 2022. This year, they were a little bit behind, but he was still winning races. He was still in contention for race wins. And he won more normal races this year. Like his first 2 career wins came on a last lap pass at COTA in chaos and a last lap win at Talladega in chaos. But these other 2 wins, I'm not taking away from those wins at all. No. Those are still impressive. Those are still Cup Series wins. But the other 2 were more normal. Like he dominated Nashville. He dominated Phoenix. Like, he just drop kicked the field in the face. So, but yeah, he's got a long career ahead of him. You think Eric Jones and Jimmy Johnson win next year? Jimmy Johnson, for sure, no. I love Jimmy Johnson, Hendrick Motorsports legend. But no, his winning days are over, unfortunately, unless he gets in the RB19, the F1 Red Bull car. I don't see him winning. Eric Jones, though, is an interesting one. Eric Jones is a great plate racer. He's great at Darlington. He's even pretty solid at the intermediates. If Toyota can deliver in their first year, Eric Jones can make the playoffs. He should have made it 2 years ago, but format. Last year they were off for like half the season, which just kind of derailed it. So, whatever. But Eric Jones could very well win a race next year. I think it's a little bit of a long shot. It's not a complete long shot like Rick Ware. If I had to put odds on it, because I know so much about making odds, if we're putting Rick Ware winning a race at 1,000 to 1, I'd put Eric Jones winning at like 40 to 1. You know what? 30 to 1. What do you think the championship should be? Season-long Winston Cup format. I'm old school. I was 4 years old, 3 years old last time the Winston Cup format happened, and I still believe that's the best way to determine a champion. people got so pissed off at Kenseth winning the championship with one race win. Like, consistency matters. Who cares if he only had one race win? He beat everyone else. Get over it. I'd rather have that than Ryan Newman get 4 top 5s all year and almost win the championship. Like, if Ryan Newman won that 2014 championship, it would have been an absolute joke. No disrespect to Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman's a great driver. They played the format perfectly. But that would have been a joke. So, I'm all for a season-long championship. They'll never bring it back. They've dug their own grave, essentially. But the championship format, it sucks now, if you ask me. It gets more frustrating, though, over the years. I try my best to be nice about it, but I'm just so worn out at this point that I'm tired of pretending to be nice to it. So I'm just going to keep saying it sucks. So, but, yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. I hope Harvick does good in the booth. Me too. I do too. Kevin Harvick. I might, you know what, I'm going to do, that's another off-season video idea. I'm going to do some type of tribute video or something, some edit, something like that for Kevin Harvick. I did one for Jimmy. I did one for Dale. I didn't do one for Jeff because, you know, Jeff Gordon's my GOAT, but I didn't know anything about editing back then. I wasn't even doing YouTube back then. I started this thing in 2017, the fall of, or late summer, August of 2017. But, yeah, I'll do something for Harvick. Well, oh my, it's already 1 o'clock. Time flies when you're having fun. It's the 60th anniversary of JFK's assassination, for those who didn't know. It happened like 30 minutes ago, 60 years ago. 60 years and 30 minutes ago. There's a history lesson for you. I swore if Newman won that championship, I was leaving NASCAR. Glad he didn't win. The fact that he was in the Final Four over Gordon was a joke in the first place. The original knockout format was 10 times more stupid than it is now. And right now, it's like 1,000 times stupid. So, no playoff points. Everyone has 0 points entering. Genuinely a fluke. Genuinely a joke. Gordon was the champion that year. Or should have been the champion, whatever. Gordon and Harvick got screwed the most out of this system. Gordon should have won 04, 07, 14. Harvick should have won, I think it was 15, 16, and 20. Or no. It was 2010, 2015, and 2020. Elliott won 2020, but should have won 2022. There's a list. You know, screw it. We're doing it. We're pulling up the Winston Cup format. There's a account on Twitter that's like Winston Cup champions. Like if we still had the Winston Cup champion. And it's got like the champion every year if it was the Winston format. 2023 William Byron, 2022 Chase Elliott, 2021 Kyle Larson. So that's one. That's one guy who actually won the championship that won the Winston. Harvick 2020, Kyle Busch 2019, Kyle Busch 2018, Martin Truex Jr. 2017, Harvick 16, Harvick 15, Gordon 14, Johnson 13, that's 4, Keselowski 12, that's 5, Edwards 11, Harvick 10, Johnson 9, Johnson 8, Gordon 7, Kenseth 6, Stewart 5, that's 8, Gordon 4. So 8 champions out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 8 out of the 20 champions have been 100% deserving. That's less than 50% for those of you who are like me and don't like math. That's less than 50%. Impressive. Very nice. Thank you, NASCAR, so much for this format that we all love so much. All right, I got to get going here in the next few minutes, but we can't end on that sad note. We have to end on a happy note. So, trying to think. I'm so fogged up by being mad at NASCAR's championship format. Vegas ratings, we're going to end on this. Vegas TV ratings actually were not that bad. 1.3 million viewers. And the race started at 1 a.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Central, or 12 a.m. Central. That is not bad. If that was at a normal time, I'm sure that number would have been bigger. Alex Bowman won the championship. That would be cool. I'd be fine with that. Max wins Sunday. Hot take of the year from Robert that Max Verstappen's going to win on Sunday. Part of me wants a chaotic race, but Abu Dhabi doesn't usually do that. The only time Abu Dhabi did that was when the championship was on the line and they kind of had to screw up the race in because of... Oh, my God. I can't talk about Abu Dhabi. I'm not a Lewis Hamilton fan or anything. It's just that the internet has just really beat the dead horse. I will say it is a little bit funny to watch people like scream hashtag F1 scandal like 2 years later. It's over. It's official. I don't know what you want me to do about it. 88 days till the Daytona 500. Great late live chat. Thank you. Thank you, Patty. You asked some great questions. And you had that great joke, right? That was you. I think that was you who had the joke about if Racing Bulls does crappy, they'll be known as Racing BS. That's the comment of the day right there. But yeah, thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We haven't done one of these in quite a while. We might do some more of these in the off season. I'll let you know. As I said earlier, go to the community posts. But I hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving. I won't be doing anything on the channel unless it's like nuclear breaking news. In terms of racing, obviously. But thanks for watching again. Thank you guys again for the support on the channel throughout the week, the weekend, at Vegas. And I hope you guys watch other videos and stuff. And once again, thanks for joining this live stream. You guys asked great questions, even had some great jokes in there. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you guys later. And yes, I would love to see Lando win on Sunday too, Robert. That would be cool.